He despised me for exposing his sworn sister's identity as a spy. So he handed me over to bandits to be defiled and brutally murdered. After my rebirth, I watched coldly as he lost his official rank and noble title because of her. No longer interfering. Welcome to my channel. If you like this story, please click to subscribe. There are more wonderful stories waiting for you to listen to. Chapter 1. Ji-Chen returned victorious, accompanied by a woman named Yan Zhao. He sent her to my residence. Zhao saved my life on the battlefield. I've taken her as my sworn sister. Shuangwen, you're soon to be my wife and the mistress of the Yong'an Marquis' household. It wouldn't be proper for her to remain here, lest it invite gossip. I'd be grateful if you could look after her for me. In my past life, hearing these words filled me with sweetness, convinced my future husband valued me enough to maintain such purity. I placed Yan Zhao in the finest courtyard of my residence, tending to her with utmost care, dreading any misstep. But soon, the secret guards caught her sneaking into my father's study to steal military maps. After thorough investigation, it was uncovered that she was actually a spy from the enemy nation. Even her rescue of Ji-Chen on the battlefield had been deliberate. I exposed her spy identity and handed her over to the Ministry of Justice for trial. When Ji-Chen confronted me, I recounted the entire truth. He demanded I accompany him to the prison to question Yan Zhao personally. Pitying him for being deceived and manipulated, I went with him. To my shock, Yan Zhao threw herself against the wall upon seeing him and died. Before her final breath, she stared intently at him, sobbing, "Ji Lang, I never deceived you." She envied our bond as kindred spirits and framed me. I presented both witness testimony and physical evidence to Ji-Chen. He smiled, saying he believed me, then turned and hastened our wedding date. Shuangwen, our betrothal spans decades. I can wait no longer. Will you marry me sooner? Of course I consented. On the day I joyfully married him, bandits ambushed us. I was dragged into a dilapidated temple, defiled, and killed. Before dying, I heard Ji-Chen's icy voice. Now, Jiao Jiao, you may finally rest. So it was all because of her. After rebirth, seeing Yan Zhao's face, more radiant than flowers, I instinctively clenched my palms. Ji-Chen lazily toyed with the sachets at his waist, quietly waiting for my consent. Yan Zhao watched the swaying sachets in his hand. Their gazes met, one lowered her eyes shyly. The other curved his lips into a pleased smile. The two were deeply enamored, exchanging glances of affection, oblivious to anyone else around them. How blind had I been in my past life, failing to notice the signs between them already at this point? Ji-Chen was a military officer who wore a sword at his waist. He had never adorned himself with such a cumbersome accessory as a sachets. Seeing Yan Zhao's crimson cheeks, it was obvious who had given her the sachets. Young Master Ji, I cannot agree to your request. We are not yet married, and it would be inappropriate for me to interfere in the affairs of the Marquis of Yong'an's household. Please return. Ji-Chen's languid demeanor stiffened. Yan Zhao turned to look at me. The flush now completely faded from her cheeks, a flicker of panic in her eyes. She had schemed her way into the Great Chu Empire solely for the military maps my father left behind. If she couldn't stay at my home, how would she obtain it? I abruptly yanked my sleeve back and snapped sharply. We are not yet married. Master Ji, please restrain yourself. If word of this spreads, how could the women of the Zhang family ever hold their heads high? He awkwardly withdrew his hand. That's not what I meant. You'll be my wife sooner or later. Helping manage the household affairs and arranging for Jiao Jiao, that shouldn't be too much to ask. My gaze swept over him and Yan Zhao, and I suddenly smiled. Fine. I'll help you. Ji-Chen departed cheerfully, repeatedly urging me to take good care of Yan Zhao. She saved my life. She's a benefactor to the entire Yong'an Marquis household. Shuangwen, You're gracious and courteous, you must look after her well. I rolled my eyes inwardly. Taking care of her? I'd rather tend to your mother. After Ji Chen departed, Yan Jiao sat in the guest seat, tea in hand, observing me without a flicker of emotion. I had Ji Chen's mother, the lady of the Yongnan Marquis, brought in. When Yan Jiao saw her, the composure that had held her expression gave way to a flicker of startled uncertainty. She was a spy, trained for years by the Jiang Kingdom, the top recruit selected from thousands. She looked down on me, a sheltered woman of the inner quarters. And in my previous life, she had played a cruel trick on me right up until my death. And I had, in truth, died because of my trust in Ji Chen. I had never held Yan Jiao in any regard. A woman who appeared halfway through. Knowing him for mere months, how could she compare to me? His childhood sweetheart for over a decade? Yet reality shattered my illusions. A man whose heart has changed is more terrifying than any ghost. I seated the Dowager of Yongnan in the honored position and personally poured her tea. After entering, her gaze lingered only briefly on Yan Jiao before fixing entirely upon me. It's been a few days, Shu Yuan, and you look thinner. I've had several ginseng roots sent up from the palace. I'll have someone bring them to you shortly. Aunt, my health is not the concern. There is a matter now that requires your decision. What is it? Shu Yuan? I told her everything, how I had rescued Yan Jiao from Ji Chen, and how Ji Chen had sent her to my residence. Yan Jiao's expression remained calm, though her fingers had turned white from clenching. I hesitated. Though our families have arranged the marriage, I have yet to formally join the Ji household. You remain the matriarch of the Ji family. Even after I marry in, household matters should be taught to me gradually by you. My son is a clumsy military man. You, Shu Yuan, are the one who thinks things through. In my past life, Yan Jiao had urged Ji Chen to stay at my home. When word spread, people gossiped behind his mother's back that she couldn't manage her household, failing even to properly host and settle her son's savior, forcing her future daughter-in-law to step in. This led to his mother's deep loathing for me. She wouldn't even deign to collect my body. Since Miss Yan saved my son's life, you should come back to the estate with me for proper lodging. Yan Jiao tried to speak, but she was cut off. Come now, Miss Yan. If your legs are unsteady, I can send for a sedan chair to carry you. Yan Jiao had no choice but to rise. In that case, thank you, Aunt. After Yan Jiao entered the sedan chair, I called out to the Duchess of Yongnan. Aunt, Ji Chen is a military commander. He never wears a sachets at his waist. Yet today, when he came to see me, there was a peony sachets embroidered by a maiden's hand at his side. He only told me Miss Yan saved his life and he's taken her as his sworn sister. I didn't pry further, but I do wonder how a delicate young lady like Miss Yan could have rescued a military commander like him. Her expression darkened completely. I understand. Rest assured, Shu Yuan. Both our families are marquis. This marriage alliance is of utmost importance. I will not let anyone disrupt it. 3 days later, the Yongnan Marquis's residence sent an invitation for a recognition banquet. Ji Chen's mother hosted the feast, opened the ancestral hall, and brought out the family genealogy, all to have Yan Jiao acknowledge her ancestral ties. When I received the invitation, I nearly laughed out loud. How true it is that experience counts for something. She actually claimed Yan Jiao was the Ji family's long-lost illegitimate daughter. She intended to have Yan Jiao entered into the Ji family genealogy, severing Ji Chen's hopes at their very root. Alas, she underestimated her son's love for Yan Jiao. I scanned the banquet hall but saw no sign of Ji Chen. Spies from the Yongnan Marquis's household informed me he'd been locked away by his mother. I ordered him to release Ji Chen. Just as Yan Jiao was about to kneel before the ancestral hall, Ji Chen rushed in, pulling her off the cushion and shielding her behind him. Yan Jiao is my beloved. Mother, are you trying to drive your son to despair? The sachets at his waist were gone. Yan Jiao hid behind him, wiping away tears. I began crying at just the right moment. Ji Chen shoved me violently to the ground. It's all your fault. Zhang Shuyuan. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. You pretend one thing and do another behind my back. If you didn't want to take care of Jiao Jiao, you could have just told me. Why did you send her to my mother afterward? Shocked, I stumbled back 2 steps. What nonsense are you spouting? You explicitly told me she was your sister. That's why I sent her to your mother, so she could be reunited with her family. What did I do wrong? Ji Chen's rage boiled over. I clearly told you she was my sworn sister. Yes. She is your sister now. How did she suddenly become your beloved? I wiped my tears, feigning hurt. Whispers rose around us. Miss Zhang is so naive, she's been completely taken advantage of. What did she do wrong? If you ask me, that young General Ji is the one at fault. Sending a woman from outside into his fiancé's home? It's nothing short of humiliation. My voice choked with emotion. If that's the case, let's call off the engagement. You love her, I'll wish you both a lifetime of happiness together. I wiped my tears, gritted my teeth, and forced myself to appear strong despite my broken heart as I walked out of the Yong'an Marquis' residence. Ji Chen's mother sent people to chase me, but I left them all behind. I urged the coachman to hurry. When we reached the Zhang residence, I pretended to faint the moment I stepped down, startling passers-by. That day, every tea house and tavern in the capital buzzed with tales about Ji Chen. Those who heard them all cursed him as worse than a beast. Ji Chen had never dared defy his mother. After I left, his mother flew into a rage, ordering him beaten 30 times with a cane until he collapsed, unable to rise. In front of the assembled dignitaries, his mother ordered Yan Jiao to offer incense to the Ji family ancestors. They say that when her name was permanently inscribed into the Ji family genealogy, Ji Chen let out a heart-wrenching roar, tears streaming down his face. Afterward, his mother investigated who had released Ji Chen. My spy within the Ji household was exposed. He had taken the fake death potion I provided. After receiving 20 lashes, he coughed up blood. After speaking, he collapsed unconscious, drew his last breath, and was discarded in a mass grave. In the dead of night, I had him brought back and healed, then sent him immediately to our ancestral estate to live out his days. Ji Chen's mother grew to despise Yan Jiao even more. To prevent Yan Jiao from seducing Ji Chen within the mansion, she sent her to an academy 1,000 miles away, far from the capital. After Ji Chen recovered, his mother forced him to come beg my forgiveness, using Yan Jiao's life as leverage. With elders from both families seated at the banquet, he knelt at my feet and apologized. For a young general decorated in battle to kneel before me, it was as if he'd laid his face on the ground for me to trample. Had I refused him, rumors would have spread that I was ungrateful. This world has always been unfair. Our marriage bound our families in alliance. My parents would never permit me to break it off simply because Ji Chen had changed his heart. I could only bide my time. If you've come to understand, that's the best outcome. The banquet flowed with warmth, as if no rift had ever existed between our families. The gatekeeper announced, "Young master has returned." Young master has returned. Puzzled, I set down my chopsticks. Why would my brother return now? Mother and I went out to greet him. The moment the carriage curtain lifted, the color drained from my face. My brother shyly helped Yan Jiao down, tenderly saying, "Be careful. Jiao Jiao. Don't fall." In the second our eyes met, she flashed me a smile that bordered on malicious. "Long time no see." Second young miss. A dense, stabbing pain surged through my chest once more. Was I destined to die by her schemes again? Just like in my past life? No. I refuse. I will never endure such a filthy, humiliating death again. My brother explained that he'd been bitten by a snake while descending the mountain, and Yan Jiao happened to pass by and saved him. Upon hearing this, Mother immediately honored Yan Jiao as an honored guest. During the banquet, Ji Chen's mother wore a grim expression, while Ji Chen himself could barely contain his fury. Before the meal was finished, the two of them had already left. Suddenly, my brother declared, "Father, Mother, I wish to marry Jiao Jiao. She is my brother-in-law's sworn sister. This way, our two families will become even closer kin." The chopsticks in my hand dropped suddenly. Yan Jiao bent down to pick them up for me. "Are you feeling unwell, second young miss?" She flashed that same tender smile again. Her eyes sparkled with self-satisfied delight. I steadied my nerves. Father always valued family standing above all. He would never agree to this. "You've just returned. After such a long and tiring journey, you should rest first before making any plans." The satisfaction in Yan Jiao's eyes froze, and she instinctively glanced at her younger brother. Her brother spoke with displeasure. "Father, I am the second son of the main branch. The title will be inherited by my elder brother. You promised me I could decide my own marriage. How dare you? After all these years studying abroad, is this how the academy taught you to question your father?" He knelt to apologize, daring not to speak further. Yan Jiao hurriedly interjected. "There's no need for concern, second young miss. To outsiders, simply say I'm your close confidant visiting for a few days." Her brother chimed in. "That's right, sister." I feigned anger and glared at him. Not to mention the day the Ji family recognized our kinship, the whole town was abuzz. Everyone knows my fiancé, Ji Chen, attacked me to defend you. My brother frowned. Such a thing happened? My heart settled a little. At least my brother hadn't been blinded by lust like Ji Chen, obsessed with her to the point of no return. I continued, without going into the distant past. "Let's focus on the present. If Miss Yan truly shares my brother's feelings, she should consider the long-term future. If you stay in my family's home before marriage, and if you two do end up marrying, people outside will surely gossip that you were already flirting openly before the wedding. Our family has always valued reputation. We cannot be careless in such matters. I hope Miss Yan understands. Besides, the Ji family, my future mother-in-law, is renowned throughout the capital for her virtue. Your brother Ji Chen protects you. They owe you nothing." I laid out all the pros and cons, analyzing the entire situation not only from my brother's perspective but also from my parents'. My father issued a near forceful dismissal. "The servants have prepared the carriage." "Thank you, Miss Yan, for saving my son's life. Tomorrow, I will personally visit your father to express our gratitude." With matters thus settled, she had no choice but to leave. My brother was rebellious and reckless, fearing nothing and no one. From a young age, he loved stirring up trouble outside. My father had beaten him many times, but it never lasted long before his old habits resurfaced. The only one in this world who could control him was me. After Yan Jiao left, he circled around me several times. "Big sis, that damned Ji Chen actually dared to lay a hand on you. Just wait till I deal with him." Hearing this, the sting in my heart eased slightly. "If one day Yan Jiao tries to kill me, what would you do?" "Kill her, of course," he said without hesitation. "You're my own sister." I ruffled his hair. Hearing those words made me feel much better. I disguised myself to meet Ji Mingxiao, the eldest son of the Ji family's concubine. Though brimming with talent, his status as a son of a concubine forced him to conceal his abilities. Even after passing the imperial examinations, he only secured a position as a compiler in the Hanlin Academy. During his 2 years in office, his peers from the same examination cohort had all chosen sides. aligning with factions within the court to gain promotions and titles. Only he remained stagnant. His name struck from the roster during 2 consecutive Ministry of Personnel evaluations. The instigator of the situation was Ji Chen's mother. When Ji Chen and Ji Mingxiao took the imperial examinations together, Ji Mingxiao's ranking far surpassed Ji Chen's. This outcome had already brought shame upon Ji Chen's mother. Her maternal uncle held substantial power in the military. With border conflicts flaring up, she arranged for Ji Chen to be stationed at the frontier. This recent campaign, though not a major battle, was sufficient to win the emperor's favor, exactly as Ji Chen's mother had calculated. Her ultimate goal had always been to secure Ji Chen a position as a civil official in the court, where he could sway the course of events with mere words. The strategy behind Ji Chen's great victory originated from Ji Mingxiao. Yet when the emperor inquired, Ji Chen claimed it was his own idea. The frontier was treacherous, and Ji Chen's mother had long paved his path in the court. She deliberately stifled Ji Mingxiao's advancement, fearing that if he gained a foothold in the court, her son would find it impossible to enter the inner circle when he eventually joined the government. The Great Liang Empire had an unwritten rule: only one member per generation of a family could hold real power in the court. The emperor feared factionalism and the formation of cliques. But I knew that Ji Mingxiao had never succumbed to Ji Chen and his mother's schemes. He was merely biding his time, waiting for the decisive strike. I wish to collaborate with you, young master. Ji Mingxiao chuckled at this. I'm just a lowly official with no prospects. Second young miss. You've truly chosen the wrong person. I haven't. My gaze fixed firmly on him. Ji Mingxiao, you are the one I seek. I want to marry you. His hand tightened around the teacup. His eyes clouded with unreadable emotion. Yet his voice remained light and playful. I am a son of a concubine. I don't care. I'm not favored at home. My situation is difficult. Marrying me as my wife brings no advantages. I don't care. The laughter in his voice faded, his tone growing hoarse. My official rank is low. I have no future. I don't care. He lowered his gaze. Then what do you care about? I recalled the despair before my death in my previous life, those vile people ravaging my body. I cried until I fainted, begging them pitifully to spare me. Yet they only grew more brutal. My sobs seemed the finest stimulant. No one cared whether I lived or died. So I died, disgraced and pitiful. My body left unclaimed. My parents loathed my death as unclean, a stain upon the Zhang family's honor, refusing to bury me. My younger brother came despite their protests, only to be beaten by our father. After dozens of strokes, he ran a high fever and could not rise. In his weakened state, he wrote a letter to Ji Chen's mother. Having lived arrogantly for most of his life, this was the first time he ever used the word beg. He begged Ji Chen's mother to consider the hardships I endured caring for the entire Ji family after marrying into their household, pleading for them to bury my body. Accustomed to lavish spending, his monthly allowance was always depleted by the beginning of the month, and his father's discipline was harsh. He simply had no silver to spare. He took out the jade guanyin pendant he'd worn close to his heart since childhood, worth 10,000 taels, and sent it along with the letter to the Ji family. After reading the letter, Ji Chen's mother, this mother-in-law who had always treated me like her own daughter, took the jade pendant but tossed the letter onto the ground. It blew away with the wind, landing in Ji Mingxiao's courtyard. He was practicing swordplay in the courtyard. The letter, thin as a cicada's wing, landed precisely on the tip of his sword. After reading it, he sighed. That very night, dressed in simple clothes, he went to the place where I had been killed. He gathered my bones and buried them, erected a monument, and made offerings. For 7 years, he came to burn incense for me, without fail, come rain or shine. Every year, on this day, he would arrive without fail. Each year, as he lit the incense, Fragments of my scattered soul would gather a little more. By the 7th year, he had risen to a high-ranking official in the imperial court, completely overshadowing Ji-chen. As he placed the burning incense before me, a servant asked whom he honored. He murmured with a sigh, the second daughter of the Zhang family, Zhang Shuyuan. And in that moment, my scattered soul gathered, bound for the wheel of rebirth. Through his compassion, I was no longer a wandering spirit, granted rebirth. A coquettish girl who loved to dress up, though it was a pity she bore the Zhang surname. His retreating figure bore a lonely air. At that instant, the waning moon at the horizon dispersed the thick gloom, and the sky brightened. Our eyes met. I shed my disguise as his words reached my ears. Then what matters to you? I answered him earnestly, my voice tinged with sorrow. I want to live. Even if I must die. I want to die with dignity. I refuse to die dishonorably again. That filthy death haunts me night after night, waking me in terror. Tears flood my eyes, soaking my pillow and quilt. A flicker of startlement crossed his indifferent eyes. After a long moment, he handed me his handkerchief. Though my official rank is lowly, I can still protect my wife and children. But second miss, you are still betrothed to my younger brother. He sounded utterly helpless. I laughed through my tears. Soon, very soon, it will be gone. Promise me you won't marry anyone else. He couldn't help but laugh. Second miss, I come from humble origins. No one would marry a son of a concubine with no future. You are the first girl in these 23 years who has come to tell me she is willing to marry me. I replied without a trace of guilt. No. You will have a future. I believe in you. Once you marry me, I guarantee your official career will flourish. Prosperity will never cease. He laughed so hard he shook his head. It seemed like ages since he'd laughed like that. His narrow, phoenix-like eyes closed slightly, and the corners of his handsome lips turned up. All right. I believe you. Second young miss. When I returned to the mansion, Mother was instructing my younger brother to write the invitations. Father was turning 50, and Mother planned to host a banquet at the mansion, inviting several families they were close with. Father enjoys lively gatherings. Inviting only these few families might not be appropriate. Besides, Father recently received a promotion. Visitors come to our home daily. At such a crucial time, coinciding with Father's birthday, inviting only these families could be seen as favoring some over others. Others might harbor resentment. Open hostility is easier to avoid than hidden enmity. This could also be detrimental to Father's standing in the court. Father's laughter drifted from outside the door. Truly, my daughter, raised under my own guidance, has grown to discern the tides of court politics from a single leaf. He turned to Mother. Follow Shuyuan's advice. This is a critical period for our family. We must not falter. Shuyuan, you are grown now. You shall assist your mother in organizing this birthday banquet. These are skills you must master before your marriage to the Ji family. Nearly half a month of bustling activity finally settled the banquet arrangements. When delivering the invitation to the Ji household, the servant specifically added, "Our young master eagerly anticipates meeting Miss Yen." Ji Chen's face darkened, while his mother welcomed the prospect. She was delighted that Yen Jiao might marry her younger son, thus crushing her eldest son's delusions. Return and report to your young master. I will bring Yen Jiao with me when the time comes. On the day of the banquet, the house was bustling with guests. Ji Chen's mother arrived with both her son and Yen Jiao. Yen Jiao's attire this time was more exquisite than ever. Even her makeup transformed, making her appear as delicate as a willow in the breeze. Breathtakingly beautiful. I recognized the earrings adorning her ears. They were part of Ji Chen's mother's dowry. She had truly gone to great lengths to sever Ji Chen's lingering feelings. Even her most treasured possessions had been brought out. all to ensure Yan Jiao would captivate my brother and smoothly marry into our family. When they dismounted, it was Ji-Chen who supported Yan Jiao down the steps. It seemed that after these few days together in the mansion, Yan Jiao had successfully charmed Ji-Chen back into submission, making him utterly devoted to her once more. Indeed, the art of seduction was not something everyone could master. My mother personally led me to greet them. When Ji-Chen's mother scanned the room and didn't see my younger brother, her expression visibly darkened. She forced herself to perk up. "Where is the young master of the house? My daughter has been asking about him constantly. He's entertaining guests at the manor." Ji-Chen's mother smiled at Yan Jiao. "In that case, Jiao, why don't you go find him? Didn't you keep saying you wanted to come when we were at the manor?" Ji-Chen's expression darkened again. Yan Jiao lowered her head bashfully, curtsied to my mother, and turned to go find my younger brother. I knew she wasn't looking for my brother, but for the military maps in the study. Alas, the study was empty, devoid of anything. The night before last, I'd given a sum of money to a passing old Taoist priest. He'd muttered and mumbled his way inside, then rambled incoherently about the study. He claimed a female corpse was buried beneath this room, an ill omen. My father's face darkened. He'd never believed in such nonsense before. But when human bones were actually unearthed beneath the locust tree in the study courtyard, his skepticism vanished instantly. He immediately hailed the charlatan as a master. Following the master's advice, my father had everything in the study moved out, leaving only the original furnishings and a small bed behind. After seeing Yan Jiao enter the study, I carried wine over to Ji-Chen, who sat drinking alone in the corner. "What's wrong? Feeling down? Let me keep you company." My smile dazzled Ji-Chen as he downed glass after glass. Suddenly, he spoke. "Shuangwen, I want Jiao to be my concubine. Just a concubine, she won't ever surpass you. I'll give you the honor of a primary wife and the power of a marquise. I won't let Jiao surpass you either. I'll live out my life with you properly. This lifetime, I'll only take this one concubine. Okay? Shuangwen, you're in my heart too. I love both of you. I can't bear to part with either." I tasted the bitter, burning liquor and hesitated. I wish I could agree, but Ji-Chen, my brother and Yan Jiao are deeply in love. They're discussing marriage in father's study right now, with both families' elders present. I cannot help you. His pupils contracted sharply as he gritted his teeth. A man and woman alone together? What kind of propriety is this? They're not even betrothed yet. Could your brother show some shame? How dare he be alone with Jiao in the same room? He grabbed a servant to lead the way and quickly found the study. I calculated the time in my mind. About half an hour later, a cry of fire erupted from the crowd, startling everyone to their feet. With many valuables in the mansion, my father urgently dispatched servants to summon the 9 Gates commandant for firefighting, while he personally led men to the source of the blaze. An entire row of connected residences was engulfed in flames. Basin after basin of water was thrown onto the fire, yet the flames showed no sign of abating. My father sighed with relief. Thankfully I had everything moved out. Thankfully no one was inside. The moment the words left his mouth, Ji-Chen rolled out of the raging flames, clutching the disheveled and unconscious Yan Jiao. My father and Ji-Chen's mother both stared wide-eyed, then simultaneously rolled their eyes back and fainted. Seeing the two in that state, the crowd murmured, How can they marry now? Heaven forbid!" As chaos erupted throughout the mansion, I walked to a pillar at the far end of the banquet hall. Through the scattered groups of people, I locked eyes with Ji Mingxiao. My gaze was undeniably intense, burning him until he uncomfortably lowered his eyes. I smiled faintly, ceasing my teasing, and turned to leave. When my father regained consciousness, he raged furiously. Tears glistening in his aged eyes. Today is my 50th birthday. My mother soothed him, tears streaming down her face. I stood nearby, feigning deep sorrow. My father's fury stemmed partly from the fact that the Zhang and Ji families were destined to become in-laws. Their interests were too deeply intertwined for either side to trust the other. Only a marriage alliance could bring mutual reassurance. Kneeling at my father's feet, I declared with righteous resolve, "Father, I am your daughter. I will not back down, even for the sake of my brother's futures. I am willing to endure today's humiliation and marry Ji-chen." Their eyes instantly reddened. I continued, "But Ji-chen and Yan Jiao have already consummated their union. Given his affection for her, he certainly won't accept her as a concubine." My father slammed his hand on the table and leapt to his feet. Does he dare make a daughter of the Zhang family his concubine? This sudden fury wasn't for me, but for himself. He saw me as his possession when others slighted me. He felt slighted too. He dares. I cried. Our only option now is to find another eligible man from the Ji family to change the betrothal. Otherwise, we face two dangers: the fear of public opinion, and Ji-chen's reckless nature. Impossible to control. My father's face darkened. He heeded my words. He cared little for gossip. But Ji-chen's unpredictability had left him deeply unsettled. My mother interjected. "I recall 2 Ji family sons passed the imperial examinations last time." My father frowned, pondering briefly before replying. "It was their eldest son by a concubine, ranked slightly higher than Ji-chen." My mother's eyes lit up. "What position does he hold now? Is he in the Ministry of Personnel or the Ministry of Revenue?" Those 2 departments were the most lucrative places to line one's pockets. My father's gaze darkened. Ji-chen had repeatedly brought shame upon him, and anger simmered within. His position matters little. As long as he's a Ji family child, that's enough. But he remains a son of a concubine. It's a hardship for our daughter. I shook my head. As long as it paves the way for my brother's futures, I won't complain. They smiled with relief, but my eyes remained cold. No one in this world loved me. There were scarcely any who treated me kindly. I've always been alone, drifting through this world like a rootless duckweed. Even the parents who raised me never loved me. I'm nothing but a pitiable pawn. Unbidden. Ji Mingxiao's face floated into my mind. He is a kind man. He will treat me well. The drifting duckweed has taken root in the soil. One day, it will grow into a towering tree. The kindness in the young man's lowered gaze is the best nourishment. He is a fine young man. I am willing to marry him, manage his household, tend to his needs, be a virtuous wife and mother, and spend a peaceful life with him. My father and Ji-chen's father discussed the matter through half the night, finally settling on my marriage to Ji Mingxiao. Ji-chen ultimately fulfilled his lifelong wish by marrying Yan Jiao. Though under her mother's interference, she ended up only as a concubine. His primary wife was a girl chosen by Ji-chen's mother from her own maternal clan. I heard that girl had already been betrothed to someone else, with their wedding date even set. The day Ji Mingxiao and I exchanged vows was not particularly festive. To my father, this marriage was merely a means to secure the positions of the Zhang and Ji families. As long as the goal was achieved, that was all that mattered. As for me, he cared not at all. Ji-chen's mother despised Ji Mingxiao's status as a son of a concubine, so she certainly paid him no mind either. But still, I was happy. Ji Mingxiao lifted my veil. In the dim candlelight, he stood clad in crimson, his jet-black hair tied high. Under the lamplight, his features were like jade. He was truly beautiful, like a flawless piece of jade. He spoke to me with a hint of apology. "Today, it's not very lively." He sat beside me, slowly taking my hand to slip a delicate, translucent jade bracelet onto my wrist. "My savings are meager now. But someday I'll replace it with something finer. I happily jingled the emerald green bracelet. Of course. I believe you. A smile flickered in his eyes. MHM. Early the next morning, Ji Mingxiao went about his official duties while I basked in the sun in the courtyard. Yan Jiao suddenly appeared, raising her hand to slap my face, only to be stopped by me. What are you doing, Auntie Jiao? She was furious enough to spit blood. There was love potion in the study. Did you put it there? Speak! I protested innocently. What nonsense are you talking about? Du Yan, Ji Chen's legitimate wife, heard the commotion and rushed over immediately. I quickly scrunched my lips and ran behind her, whimpering, "Sister-in-law, save me! She's bullying me!" I made a fierce accusation. Du Yan, as the wife of Ji Chen, the legitimate heir, managed the entire household affairs of the Marquis's residence. Even before her marriage, she'd heard tales of how Ji Chen mistreated me for Yan Jiao's sake. Seeing my tears now, her brow furrowed. Concubine Jiao, how dare you bully her as a secondary wife? After suffering repeated humiliating defeats at my hands, Yan Jiao no longer bothered to pretend. She sneered coldly. What's it to you? Do you think becoming the main wife means your husband loves you? On our wedding night, he spent it in my chambers. Du Yan, upon hearing this, showed not a trace of anger. Why would I need his love? Yan Jiao was stunned into silence. She glared fiercely at me. I won't let you off. No one has ever dared treat me this way. I stuck my tongue out at her. Well, someone just did. She lunged forward again. But Du Yan stepped in front of me. Try it. Yan Jiao stormed off, unwilling to accept defeat. After she left, I invited Du Yan to admire the flowers, bask in the sun, and sip tea together. She squinted her eyes. Big brother really spoils you. You live like a goddess. I chuckled. You bet. Look at my bracelet, he bought it. I couldn't resist showing off. Du Yan giggled. You're so easily satisfied. Her gaze drifted to her own wrist, where a jade green bracelet lay prominently. I used to be just like you, easily satisfied. I knew she was referring to her beloved, from whom she'd been forcibly separated. Didn't you consummate your marriage on your wedding night? She flashed a sly smile. Yeah. I nearly kicked him to pieces. We exchanged a knowing glance, instantly understanding the implication, and both burst out laughing. That afternoon, Du Yan and I talked at length. Ji Chen's mother was her aunt. Though she'd always been capable at home, her mother's lowly status meant Ji Chen's mother had always looked down on her. It wasn't until Ji Chen and Yan Jiao's scandal erupted that Ji Chen's mother finally took notice of her. To bring her in and clean up the mess her son had made, Ji Chen's mother didn't hesitate to destroy her original betrothal. How was that any different from forcible abduction? Rumor had it that the young master she was betrothed to fell gravely ill on the very second day after she entered the Ji household. Du Yan gazed up at the sky, her eyes gleaming with a dead calm. One day, I will leave this place. Wu is not my homeland. How could I linger here long? I watched her retreating figure. Ji Chen's mother was courting disaster, delivering such a valuable ally as Du Yan right to my doorstep. Yan Jiao's ambition to steal the military maps remained undiminished. She set her sights once more upon my younger brother. But my brother is not Ji Chen. He detests deception above all else. She exhausted every stratagem to persuade my brother to bring her into the mansion. Disguised as a maid, she followed him. After ascertaining the location of my father's study, she knocked my brother unconscious, slipped into the study, seized the military maps, and fled the capital that very night. Ji Chen searched everywhere for Yan Jiao but found nothing. Driven mad with desperation, he convinced himself his mother had forced her away. Mother and son became bitter enemies. 3 months later, The Jiang kingdom once again violated our borders, pillaging and burning with utter depravity. This time, as the aging commander-in-chief, my father took my brother to the front lines. Ji Chen remained despondent over Yan Zhao's departure. Ji Mingxiao was transferred to the Ministry of War to oversee the transport of provisions. After 3 months of fierce fighting, the Jiang army was trapped at Nanping Pass, surrounded on 3 sides by my brother's forces. The Jiang kingdom suffered a crushing defeat. Yan Zhao, dragged out of hiding, raved madly, "Impossible. We couldn't have lost." She snapped her head up to stare at my brother, who sat lazily astride his horse. Realization dawned on her: the military maps were fake. My brother smiled. Indeed. My sister was right all along. You, woman, truly have the heart of a viper. Yan Zhao wailed, her voice torn with grief. I saved your life. How could you treat me this way? Is that so? Did you truly believe I was that fool Ji Chen? Easily deceived by your sweet talk? After my sister spoke, I investigated. That snake that bit me, you had it placed there, all to get close to me. So I'd take you home, steal the military maps, and once again threaten our border. He lifted her chin with his whip, coldly stating, Yan Zhao, I detest being deceived. Yet I'll spare your life, you still hold value. On the day father and brother escorted Yan Zhao back to the capital, Dian Yan personally identified Ji Chen as the one who knew Yan Zhao was a spy at the Supreme Court of Justice. She presented the evidence I had given her. It was the treasonous letter bearing Ji Chen's identical handwriting. With this revelation, Ji Chen's father, determined to sever all ties between his son and the Marquis's household, resolutely abandoned his own wife. He declared Ji Chen not his biological son, but the illegitimate child of Ji Chen's mother and a stable hand, a cuckoo that had usurped the nest for over 20 years. Deserving of death, Ji Chen was stripped of his official rank and noble title, sentenced to immediate execution. Ji Chen's mother was also divorced. Dian Yan was taken back home by her mother. Her beloved had fallen gravely ill after she married into the Marquis's household, and no remedy could restore his health. His days were now numbered. Yet Dian Yan still married him. Not long after, he passed away from his illness. Dian Yan carried his ashes up the mountain, shaved her head, and became a Taoist nun. I visited her, but she refused to descend the mountain with me. Her smile was so carefree. Her eyes reddened. If he could starve himself to death for me, how could I not repay him with my own life? After returning, I remained gloomy. Ji Mingxiao set down his brush, closed the official documents, and took a new bracelet from his bosom, slipping it onto my wrist. Is something troubling you, my lady? My face was deathly pale as I clasped his hand. I had a nightmare. Rebels seized me in a ruined temple, defiled me, and killed me. Ji Mingxiao's brow furrowed slightly. He tightened his grip on my hand and pulled me close. It won't happen. With me here, it will only ever be a dream. My tears soaked his robe as he gently patted my back, soothing me all night long. Ji Chen's father had only 2 children, Ji Chen and Ji Mingxiao. After Ji Chen's accident, the position of heir to the Marquis remained vacant. Ji Mingxiao proved highly capable in escorting grain supplies and was promoted during the next Ministry of Personnel Assessment. Within 5 years, he had risen to the position of Vice Minister of War. That same year, our first child was born, a boy with eyes as dark as his own. He couldn't put the child down, rushing home after court each day to cradle and coo over him. Even when the baby peed all over his hand, he didn't mind. Just laughed and called him a little rascal. Seeing my husband's rising success in officialdom, my parents repeatedly tried to draw closer to me, but I always responded with cool reserve. Over time, Ji Mingxiao began to sense something was amiss. Yet he asked me nothing, simply acting according to my wishes. If the lady dislikes something, There must be a reason. 3 more years passed in the blink of an eye. Hunga could now cling to books, babbling as he tried to read. That same year, Ji Mingxiao was promoted to Minister of War, his career soaring to new heights. Our second child was also born that year. This time, it was a little girl with rosy cheeks and a delicate face. Ji Mingxiao was even happier than when he held Hunga. And several times, he nearly neglected his duties while entertaining his daughter. Lately, whenever he returned home, he would spend some time in the storeroom. I tidied my silk robes and went to find him. I discovered him staring at a pair of golden lotus sand crab hairpins. When he saw me, he placed the pins into a somewhat empty chest. I asked him what he was doing. He sighed softly. I'm gathering dowry for Yuer. I want to save as much as I can for her, so she'll have a better life in the future. I stepped closer and took his hand. Having a father like you, Sister Yu is more fortunate than anyone. Suddenly, news arrived that the eunuch from His Majesty's entourage had arrived. Ji Mingxiao and I went together to receive the imperial procession. Even after the eunuch departed, I still held the imperial edict in my hands, unable to believe it. He smiled and pulled me into his embrace. Ah Yuan, thank you for accompanying me all this way. Tears welled in my eyes. No. Ji Mingxiao, you earned every step of this journey yourself. I'm the one who got the easy ride. I was merely a thief who stole memories from a past life, using foresight to act first. I presented both witness testimony and physical evidence to Jichen. He smiled, saying he trusted me, then turned and moved up our wedding date. His eyes shone brightly. Then you may keep it a little longer. I'm quite cheap, my lady. During the Mid-Autumn Festival, Ji Mingxiao took leave. I made mooncakes in the courtyard with the children. He leaned against a tree, clad in his blue official robes, fingering the jade token at his waist. His eyes held a smile. Yuan, life's small satisfactions outweigh grand ambitions. Right now, I'm content. The end.